Welcome, everyone, to episode 130 of Rangers Ed, presented by Lucarelli Law. If you're in Florida and need a lawyer, call Lucarelli Law and tell them the boys at Rangers Ed sent you. This is your host, Cousin Ed. I'm here with Coach Ed over there watching the game. You see his eyes darted to the right. He's got the game on the screen. What's up, Coach?
We can watch the game on the reflection of his glasses.
Yeah, it's true.
We might get copyrighted for that.
I almost prefer to watch it that way. There's Little Ed over there. What's up, Little Ed?
How we doing, guys?
Doing as good as we can do, right?
Yep. Looking forward to the episode, though, and it's always fun with you guys. And hopefully we can act as some therapy. I got some good Instagram comments from people about what they wanted to talk about on the episode and stuff, so we can hit those at one point. So looking forward to that. And
well, similar to real life. Similar to real life, Little Ed gets comments that are friendly and, chiming in on how to contribute. And Cousin Ed gets torched on Twitter for a trade proposal. So if you guys didn't see that, I suggested, who says no, Kako and Keandre to Buffalo for Bowen Byram and Alex Tuch. And, the responses were pretty vehemently that it's a laughable trade and Buffalo says no, but I still stand by that offer. I think it's not that far off. I think a lot of people watching these games, like Coach Ed, for example, wouldn't value Keandre very high. But I think an NHL GM would. I think Keandre would carry a lot of trade value. He's a big, young defenseman with speed. And, they're not going to give these guys away. They have a certain value. And it's not like Buffalo's doing anything. Those guys are struggling over there too, So I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess. It was just an idea I was playing around online and kind of went viral. I even got Tony D'Angelo to respond, and all he wrote was Buffalo. So,
I mean, we'll listen, see, that was your, I guess your most viral tweet or your most viewed tweet and everything. So I thought it was pretty damn cool. And
thanks to Tony for responding because we got like 14,000 views. So Tony, thank you. Appreciate that.
Listen, but, I'm not a big clickbait guy. But if you actually believe in the clickbait, then you're not doing it for the wrong reason. So good on you. And I always tell you that your tweets should get some more views, and hopefully they will now. I think we got to take advantage of it and maybe fire off some tweets during the game, since we might be stuck in the algorithm now.
Twitter is just freaking brutal, man. Like Rangers fans have lost it. We, collectively,
it's really hard.
We have lost it, and it's really hard to go on Twitter and not spiral. The only positive person on there right now, I guess X, right? X, not Twitter. The only positive person on there is Lauren. Mrs. New York Rangers. She's literally the only person who says anything good about the Rangers at all. And I really try to engage with her in a way that isn't so negative because she really is trying to be positive. So I do appreciate those tweets because it is a cesspool outside of her right now. It's really difficult. But anyway, Gaza going to Tony D. I'd love to. Maybe we should have Tony D on to go in a debate with Gaza in an episode. Did you see that? Like D'Angelo, some podcast, he was going to go on it against some guy from The Athletic to talk about analytics versus the eye test kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the guy from The Athletic backed out, and it was like a whole big deal. And he pretty much said he didn't want to platform D'Angelo. So he's been getting a lot of attention on Twitter recently. But maybe we'll do a Gaza D'Angelo debate.
Speaking of Gaza, he joined us on Hockey Stick Talk.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Last week or the week before.
Yeah.
They surprised
Coach
us.
Was out for that.
Coach was out for that. He was on vacation, but got a nice little surprise from Gaza across the pond live on the show. So that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
As always, we have our usual guys, Chris and Paul, in the chat, along with Gaza and some Instagram people. So. Yeah, let's get on with the show. What do you say?
Yeah, thanks for joining us during this game. Hopefully they could turn it around. Before the game starts, let's jump into the jersey profiles, sponsored by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. Most of you know Oscar. He's great. Check him out on Instagram. Number 30, got to be the king, Henrik Lundqvist. Who else? Every single 230, 330, 430, 530, it will be Henrik Lundqvist. We're not going to do any other player. And we'll just reiterate all this stuff. 7th round pick, Henrik Lundqvist, man, insane. He played over 15 years with the Rangers, 459 wins, ranked 6th all time. He was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2023. We were there. It was amazing. 5-time All-Star, Vezina Trophy winner, lost in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Game 7 stats coach, 6-2 in those Game 7s that he's played in, and he gave up more than one goal only twice. Both of those were losses, 6-2 in Game 7s. So Hank really showed up, and they paid Igor. We got to hope that he can match that kind of level of playoff, if we can get to the playoffs, that kind of playoff dominance.
Well, they didn't get to the playoffs every year with Lundqvist, so I'm sure he still has a chance to match it. But the sad part is the highlight of Lundqvist's career for us, for me anyway, was when he was in our suite a month ago.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. It literally just happened. The puck dropped in Nashville, by the way. So if anything happens, we'll chime in. But
well, tonight's the night that Nashville comes out of their slump, so that's what we got to look forward to.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's
Brady
tough.
At the slump March or so.
If coach is being negative, things are bad. I mean, because coach is Mr. Rosy, rosy glasses, red and blue, rose-colored glasses, right? He loves the team. He stays positive. He's always got a reason. So if you're being negative, coach, we don't have hope. But anyway, yeah, you see that reel Little Ed just posted. So I saw that was your shelf, right? That was your Lundqvist shelf. It looked like.
Yep, yes, it was. Kurt Little Ed's workshop was featured in this video, and then our fan Mike, my buddy that collects the cards and posts all the cards on his Instagram, fan of New York Rangers. I'll put that back up on the screen real quick.
Yeah, pretty dope. Check him out.
Yeah, so he posts a lot of Rangers cards, and he's been helping me out with the jersey profiles with some content. So thanks a lot, Mike. But yeah, real quick before we move off of Hank, like you said, he was 205th overall pick. It was absolutely an absolute gift or diamond in the rough for us, with no doubt, or for the Rangers. Finished his career with most wins by the European goaltender. Had the gold medal, Vezina Trophy. Never had the cup, but he was immortalized in the Garden Rafters in 2022. And we had the privilege of being at his Hall of Fame induction in 2023, and it's something none of us will ever forget. So yeah, I mean, this was a fun one to put together, a nice graphic. Yeah, so
we have a lot, right? We have a lot of ideas, things that we should do, that would be fun. And, I remember when I suggested to you guys, like, hey, let's go to Toronto for Hank's induction. And you guys were like, yeah. And then we actually made it happen. We actually did that one. That was worth it. I always remember that. I'm a little upset I never went to Piazza's induction in Cooperstown. I should have went to that too, but it was definitely worth it. I always remember that. And what a weekend that was. Anyway, all right. Well, minute and a half into this game, 0-0 still. Let's go into the season breakdown. Prior to the last episode, the Rangers were 14-12-1. They went 1-2-0. They're 15-14-1. If they lose tonight, they are 500. 31 points, 5th in the Metro behind Philly now, 22nd best record in the National Hockey League. Keandre Miller's still out with an upper body injury. He's on IR. Panarin's out again, upper body injury. He's day-to-day, but Urho Vakanainen is back. He's in the lineup tonight. He's off injured reserve. That's the guy we got for Jacob Trouba. So let's take a look at how he does. Let's just get right into it while the game's going on here. There were reports last night, Steve Dangle on his podcast. If you don't know who he is, he's a pretty popular YouTuber and podcaster who covers mostly the Toronto Maple Leafs. He said that he reached out to a few people that he knows, quote unquote insider, right? Where the Rangers had a players only meeting. And the meeting was mostly about how they want Chris Drury to change or be fired. So let's just start there, right? So there's a players-only meeting allegedly occurring here. That was actually verified by other people, but now, right before this episode, Johnny Laz, our boy, said that tomorrow he's on his show. He's going to cover how that's not a true story. That's wrong information. Never happened. So this could all be, for naught, depending on what actually happened. Who knows? But let's assume it did for sake of argument. I mean, is this the inmates running the asylum here? I mean, like they're mad at Chris Drury. So what? They're tanking the season? Are they just trying, but they're unhappy, so they're not performing well? I don't know. I'm going to need some Coach Ed perspective on this players only meeting about how they don't like Chris Drury.
I mean, I've been watching sports for a long time, and not that I'm that into reading. I never really wrote every article of every newspaper or anything. I just don't remember ever hearing about having the players want the coach, but they want to get rid of the GM. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I just find it hard to believe. A little ridiculous to me. So I'm hoping that the reports are wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Johnny Laz says that. He said that. I said.
Well,
it
I'm saying I hope he's right. He's got a handle on it. He's a high level. He's an high level player, and I'm sure he has some contacts that know. And I would find it hard to believe if he's wrong. It's not just someone like.
Who are the people that verified that it was true?
Saying, yes.
Well, I
don't know who to believe.
There was a couple of people. I saw something about. I think it was Chris Johnston, another reporter. But there were multiple people saying that they heard through the grapevine that what Dangle said is true. But Johnny Laz is now saying it's false, and he's going to explain it tomorrow. So, look, it could all be for naught, but it seems to be some kind of a mutiny here in one way or the other. We see the comments tonight from Capo Caco, right? I mean, Capo Caco gets healthy scratched. So when was it? Against the Blues, right? He gets healthy scratched for that game. He's back in the lineup tonight. Before the game, he's interviewed about the scratch, and he pretty much says, like, I don't know why the coach scratched me. I guess I'm a young guy, so it's easy for him to scratch me. But I haven't been on the ice for many goals against this year, and I don't think I've been the worst player on the team. So you're going to have to ask him why I'm scratched. Like, I have nothing to say. I mean, the vibe was pretty much like it should have been someone else scratched if you had to make a change, not me. And that's pretty aggressive, coming from a player towards a coach. So there's a lot of toxicity in that room, and I wouldn't doubt if there was some kind of a players-only meeting that occurred, and then when that happens, rumors fly, right? I mean, all there needs to happen is a leak. The players had a players-only meeting, and then you're going to hear all kinds of nonsense about what actually happened there. But I don't know. I mean, Little Ed, the toxicity in a locker room it's not deniable that there's toxicity there. I mean, you can't deny it, right?
I mean, it's something, like I said, I want to, like, what makes the people verify that that's something like that is true. But either way, you could just see it in the gameplay where it's like, I don't understand why they're just all of a sudden not motivated. I don't think it's the coach either, but it's silly for them not to see like what was needed or what changes needed to be made. I mean, I could see maybe they disagree with the Barclay Goodrow situation, but like, what good does it do to play poorly, to send a message to the GM? If anything, you're just creating enemies within the fan base, enemies in the media, like things of that nature. It's like, it's, like kind of what Coach Ed says. It's like, I don't know what to believe. Like, nothing makes sense to how like they're playing and what how they're treating any kind of situation. Never mind the one that you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, it really just doesn't make sense how they're just lifeless. It's not like they're losing games and they're losing tight games. I mean, I guess technically the last game was tight because they had a nice little third period comeback, but what's not motivating them between games to come out flying in the first period? I mean, maybe we can get more into it in the coach's corner, but, like what's going on within the room, like you're saying, that is creating this toxicity. And to me, I mean, I think the writing is on the wall with Kako. Is like, he was healthy scratch for a possible trade, and maybe that trade fell through. And it's just inexplainable.
Maybe.
And Laviolette's not allowed to tell him that. And Laviolette that's just part of the job. He's got to bite that bullet and kind of take the blame for that one. Because because that's what we've been complaining about, right? You don't want these trades leaking and then the player like
Well, he didn't take the blame for it either, though. Did you see Laviolette's response to it?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so this is all pregame, so it just happened. I was just looking at this before. So Laviolette is asked, did you see Kakko's comments? He pretty much said it's easy to scratch a young guy and that he didn't deserve to be scratched. What's your response to that? And he said, whatever I say with Kakko is between us, stays in the room. So I like that. But then he said, but it's not just young guys. I've scratched veterans too. And, the whole team needs to be better, including Capo. So everyone needs to be better and we got to win games. The whole, I've scratched veterans too is BS. I mean, that's a nonsense response. First of all, why are you getting into a battle with your player in the media? He shouldn't have responded at all to that. Second of all, who's he scratched? Riley Smith? Brodzinski? He hasn't scratched any of these guys who deserve to be scratched. Kreider, Zibanejad, Lindgren, none of these guys. Trouba, he didn't scratch. He didn't scratch any of them. So what is he talking about? I scratched Riley Smith. Okay. That's nonsense, man. That's not a member of this core group and leadership that is being accused of lack of effort. So don't attack Kakko in the media. You got to eat that as the coach, right? If Kakko's frustrated, he said he's allowed to be frustrated. He's glad that he's frustrated, but he's got to eat that, man. I didn't like that from Laviolette. That, to me, that's a scared coach. I don't know, Coach. What do you think?
What I want to see is one of these veteran players like Miko or Kreider come out and just tell us what is going on. I remember a couple of years ago with the helmet throwing incident with Drury, he came out and said, look, we had a closed-door meeting, XYZ, and this is what we need to do, and that's what happened. I don't hear any player coming out and saying the Chris Drury rumor is false. None of this. So when is the leader going to come out and say something to let everybody know that they're trying to get a handle on this and they're working on it? I haven't heard it. I mean, I'm not paying attention to media like you guys do, but
who is the leader?
I don't know.
It should be
Kreider. It should be
Zibanejad. That person.
I think
Fox should say something. These guys are assistant captains. They're technically in line to be a captain. When is someone going to say, we have this under control within? It's not the GM. It's not. Tell the truth. So by none of them responding, I think something is going.
Well, Coach, I think, and Little Ed can speak to this because this was his shtick, while the team didn't have a captain until they named Jacob Trouba. The Rangers didn't have a captain for years. And they had all these guys. They had Kreider. They had Zibanejad. They got Fox as a young player, so it was fine. It wasn't him at that point. But they had these guys, and they had no captain. None of them stepped up to be captain. Trouba stepped up, and that's why he was named captain. There's no one new. It's the same guys, So if they weren't going to take the reins 4 years ago, they're not going to take it now.
I agree with that.
So maybe it's got to be somebody else. It's got to be someone like, a young player like Cooley or Laugh, or it's got to be like Trocheck or somebody else, because it's not going to be Zibanejad or Kreider. There's no doubt in my mind those guys are not captains, period. And they only wear A's because of their longevity.
A lot of people you hear rumor. That's the only thing I hear is on the train and at the game. Kreider should have been captain. I believe we even were talking about that on a show, either Trouba or Kreider. And he hasn't really. I know he's a quiet guy generally, but now's the time to speak up in your career, in my opinion.
Yeah,
as Messier would say, I watched Hank's podcast a little before Messier was on, and he said this is a game 7 moment in their career in this team's life right now, and nobody's stepping up.
Maybe Messier should be coach.
We've been saying that for years, right?
I don't know if he could deal with the players today, to be honest. I don't think so.
I think he's probably a better fit for GM, considering that's what he was when he was a player anyway. He told them who to trade, right? So, I don't know if he'd be
He had
good
a
at
handle.
it,
He had a handle of what plays, what character it took to win, and he had a handle of plays in the NHL at that time. He might not have that handle now on a one-on-one basis as a GM, but he may talk to other people who do. He knows what to look for, I would think. So I agree with
Coach,
you. I think he's more prone to be a GM.
I got to agree with you there, Coach. Although I question, just like you, whether he could actually do it, considering he has no experience. He's a winner, you know. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, honestly, there's a big part of me that that thinks that Chris Drury should be fired. But the other side of me says, I don't want to give this core that is showing how entitled they are day by day here that kind of a victory, right? I mean, you got to think about this. I mean, the same group of guys got David Quinn fired. They got Gorton fired. They got Gallant fired. Laviolette's on the hot seat. Now, Drury, so what? We're just going to keep changing the personnel and management and not change the core? I don't think that's the right answer. I think at some point the core is rotten. The apple needs to be thrown out, you know, and I don't know.
Our buddy Mike, who was just helping us with the jersey profile, actually commented. I wanted to get to some of the Instagram comments from the schedule change post. He said, are the veterans trying to get Laviolette fired? Seems like most of the goals are coming from the young/new players.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what people are suggesting, that it's Chris Drury and not Laviolette, that they want Chris Drury fired because they don't like how he handled Gaudreau and they don't like how he handled Trouba. And you know, there's been rumblings about.
I think your gameplay sends that message, though. Like, if anything, you should just contact the owner and just, you know, I don't know.
It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense from a practical perspective because, like, this is the guy who controls your employment. Like, you know, he decides if you're traded, sent to the minors, waived, right? He's the one who controls that. So you want him fired so you're going to play bad? He's just going to trade you before it gets to that point, you know? Like, I think Drury has more of the power here, unless you're someone like Miko who's got a full no move. Drury has more of the power here. But honestly, I think it's like, it's both the players and it's Drury. I mean, it's on Drury as a manager to manage his personnel.
Well, I got a question for you then from our boy PJ in the comments. If you are named GM tomorrow, what are your first set of moves?
If I'm named GM tomorrow, it's my first set of moves. I mean, honestly, the first thing I would do,
and that includes managing your personnel, like you just said. So
yeah, that's the first thing I would do is I would set up meetings with these players and figure out what was going wrong with Chris Drury, what's wrong in that locker room. I would identify, you know, guys that I expect to be leaders, and I try to get information from them, not like a mole or anything or a spy, but somebody I could rely on who can kind of give me a pulse of what's going on. And I would try to cut out whatever cancer is there. You know, as fans, we're just speculating. You know, I have no idea if it's a Banajad, if it's Kreider, if it's Lindgren, if it's Kakko. I mean, we have no idea who's causing it, but there is total disruption in that locker room. So you have to identify that.
It's funny you say that because I was watching Chicklets earlier today, and I don't know if it's just a rumor or Avery was just messing with Biz, but Biz said that Avery was flying to New York, paid by Dolan, to meet with him one-on-one about his thoughts on what's wrong with the team.
Yeah.
That could be your mole right there. Or that could be the adjustment we need, is Sean Avery in the locker room or on the coaching staff in some facility.
It's really not that difficult to be beloved as a New York Ranger. As difficult as New York is to play in, and as you know, the pressure of playing in New York is real, but it's not that difficult to be beloved. All you have to do is give your all every single game, and this fan base will love you. And just look down the list of players who are loved by this fan base, who never won a damn thing, never won the cup, but are loved by this fan base. Callahan, Dubinsky, Girardi, even guys like Blair Betts and Dominic Moore, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are fan favorites, and all they did was give their all every single time they were on the ice, and that's why they're beloved. And I think people are tired of the entitled nature of this core, and it's on the GM, whoever it is, if it's Drury, if it's me tomorrow, to identify why that's not happening and cut it out. Cut out the cancer, man. There's a cancer in the room. It's got to be cut out or it's just going to infect the whole team. We'll see. I don't know. But there is a part of me that thinks it's on Drury, as I was saying before, as a manager of employees, forget hockey. If my boss, is somebody who makes it toxic for me to go to work every day, I'm not going to be as productive. That's just the end of that's it. I know these guys make millions of dollars and play a game, and we all have to work real jobs. So it's a little different, but they're still human beings, So going into a locker room where your boss is making you miserable, that's hard. So it's on that boss to say, okay, let's bury the hatchet here, extend the olive branch to the players. Let's bury this. What is going on? Let's, clear the air and move forward so we can win. To me, that's on Chris Drury. He's the only one that can fix that problem. But the players have to toughen up a little. So their friend got traded, so they're upset. I mean, that's crazy, dude. That's absolutely insane. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's just all a mess. The whole thing's a mess. I could talk for hours without you guys chiming in.
Well, but, no, I don't mean to not chime in. You were just on a roll, so I wanted to let you go. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Maybe goal. What? That didn't go in? That was a Sam moment.
It was Heedle.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sam.
Didn't something look like it went in, though? There was a shadow or something.
The Heedle redirection?
But yeah, something looked like it snuck behind the goalie. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, and like just what I was saying earlier is like I don't understand what message they think they're sending by just not playing well or not playing with any emotion. Like they're only hurting themselves in the future for their next contract, for trades, for even if they get traded, where they end up. Like if they're playing not playing well, then they're not valuable in a trade. So then Drury's gonna have no choice but to send them to like a garbage team. So like why would they want that also? You know what I mean? Like none of it makes sense. So I mean, to me, I feel like maybe they're just not. I don't see how Laviolette's is sending the wrong message, but maybe they're just not. They're just not responding well, or the system isn't working. Whereas like other teams are making the adjustments, and the Rangers aren't able to make the adjustments to match it.
Oh, VC is one of the guys he scratched. Maybe he was talking about.
Oh, okay, a fourth liner. Yeah.
I'm just giving you an answer. I'm just watching the screen.
Right, VC got scratched. VC was scratched opening night last year, right? I mean, he's been scratched.
Seem like they're playing better.
You got here on a PTO. I mean, that's not a veteran worth scratching, comparably to somebody who's a young player who's been on our best line this year. Kakko, Heedle, and Cooley has been our best line all year.
I just find it hard to believe that they're going to play like crap just to get the GM fired.
Oh, here's a little scrum with Carrick. McCarron knocks the puck. Did you see that? He knocks the puck onto the top of the net, then knocks it off the top of the net, then hits it into Shesterkin for a save, and then buries the rebound like 3 seconds after the whistle, and Carrick gets in his face.
What I don't understand. I mean, should we get into Coach's Corner, perhaps?
Yeah, just jump right into Coach's Corner. Just do it. Just do it. Put on the ad. Play.
Hey, everybody. Coach Ed here. I'm over here in the shop at Bella Italia Marble Granite Quartz, picking up my order for a nice little bathroom I'm doing. I've been a contractor almost as long as I'm a hockey coach. So listen to me when I tell you, when you want the quality work and craftsmanship, I'm going to see the boys over at Bella. They serve all 5 boroughs, Westchester, Long Island, all the way out to Montauk. Whether you're a Ranger fan, Islander fan, Devils fan, they're going to take care of you no matter what. Make sure you give them a call, 516-561-1018. Let's go, Rangers.
All right, boys, bring it in.
Love that ad. Sorry, it was Jones who went after McCarron, not Carrick. All right, Coach, take it away.
Carrick was involved a bit.
Yeah.
Take one away. I mean, this whole dynamic is just getting very frustrating. This is our third episode questioning the character of some players.
Well,
I mean,
building off of that, questioning the character. I mean, what was Pop saying to you last week? You don't question a man's job, or you can question a man's job, but you never question a man's character. But like as a coach, like what do you do in this in this area? Like are you benching these? Are you scratching these guys? I mean, my question that I wanted to ask, like to get into that, I said, should we just get into coach's corner? Is like, I could see a world where, healthy scratching Mika is not going to be a positive thing or a positive reaction by him. But what I don't understand is how is he or how are all these players out there with the goalie pulled constantly, and a player like Cooley who is like scoring goals but also bringing all the energy? How come he's not out there with under a minute left or whatever, a minute 30 with the goalie pulled? You know, like what would you do? What are you doing as a coach in these waters or in this? What's going on right now?
Decision to make, because it's like Laviolette. I've heard him say it. I've heard Tortorella say it. In that situation, as bad as they're playing, it still gives you the best chance of success. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it. Putting all 5 guys out, I could see, if you want to say that about certain players, but I don't see not putting Cooley out for, say, Lafreniere, or even, I mean, at this point, Panarin too. I mean, I just don't see his hunger for the puck as much. His compete. He has spurts of it, but not enough to show me personally. Everybody knows my feelings on that kind of desire. Oh, nice.
Marchessault breaks out of his slump.
Yep. I don't even think I had him picked today. I forgot to do my my fantasy team.
Shocker.
Yeah, so I don't know what the feeling is. Me personally, I would do that, but I'm not getting paid $1 million and my job isn't on the line. And my attitude, more or less, if you don't want me to coach next year, I won't come back. But, I'm not losing anything by it. But when your job is on the line and your reputation and you're trying to get a team out of a slump, if they put out the guys that deserve to be out there and they lose, people are going to say, why wasn't Panarin out there? I mean, he's in a no-win situation unless his team comes out of the funk, because every decision he's making, and like you said before, why are these lines in practice and they're not in the game? They might be doing it for a reason that they don't want to talk about, Sometimes they just want to get looks of a certain player with another player in a drill, and all of a sudden that Molly Walker's tweeting out, Jones was with this guy, There's things coaches do that they don't explain every little detail of. I would find it
Coach,
also
specifically, I get that, but specifically in that Blues game, the Rangers were dead in the water. Brett Berard and Will Cooley willed them back into that game with 6 minutes to go. They pulled the goalie with almost 3 minutes left, and Mika Zibanejad didn't leave the ice. And he was pretty much benched for most of that game. I mean, he played 10 minutes up to that point, and he played the final 3 while Will Cooley sat on the bench. I mean, I get what you're saying, that he'll be criticized if Mika doesn't score, but what kind of message does that send to the team that somebody who is – whether you want to say his effort is there or not, I hate to say he's not trying, because I just can't believe that to be the case. It's crazy to say that, but whatever. He's not performing. And a guy like Will Cooley, like Little Ed said, was the Rangers' best player again in that game. Why isn't he out there?
How is he not the extra man or one of the extra? Like, there's 6 guys in the ice. How is one of them not him in front of the goalie, retrieving pucks, whatever it takes? You know, it's like
then why doesn't
I understand the pressing your veterans, but like, go ahead.
All right, then why doesn't a reporter ask him that directly? Why isn't that a question that's asked? Because that's what we're asking, and it's an obvious question.
To be in the media room.
Well, I mean, I think they are doing a little bit better of a job of asking difficult questions. But yeah, I mean, the media is a mouthpiece. Some good questions. The media is mostly a mouthpiece for the team. It's become that way. It's a little bit of the same thing every game.
Our boy Chris always calls it the echo chamber. It's always the same questions, the same nonsense on Twitter, everything.
Yeah. What went wrong today? What can you do better next game? Right? Same crap. So, and while we were talking, of course, Jonathan Marchessault, another 3-on-2, coach. A 3-on-2 leads to a goal. Rangers are losing to the worst team in the league. Again, whatever. So, yeah, I don't know.
K-Misker Chris also wants to know, is it, as from a coach's perspective, I guess, is it time to drop the man-to-man defensive zone coverage and go back to his zone defense, taking into consideration the lack of team speed and the individual commitment issues as far as hustle and effort right now?
I mean, I'm going to go back to what I said last year. This is an all-star coaching staff. Maybe they're not seeing it. I would also have a tough time knowing that Michael Peck or Housley are meeting in their coaches' meetings and say, this is what we need to do. Maybe there is a little dissension amongst the three of them about what they should do, and that's a little bit of an issue. Again, all we can do is speculate on a multitude of scenarios. But the bottom line is, it comes down to the players have to put pucks in the net. And they got to stop pucks. It's a frustrating discussion over and over. I hope they come out of it because I'm sick of talking about it.
Yeah, but coach, do you coach to your system or do you coach to your personnel strengths? Right? I mean, I think that's the real question. Like, let's say you have a system. I don't know what system you run with Stony Brook, but let's say you run like a 1-2-2, and for some reason your personnel is just not able to do that. Do you consider running a different system, even though you think that's the most effective one that better fits your personnel? So even if they're all sitting there saying, I like the man D, should there be an honest assessment of whether that's the right system for this personnel? I think that's the question.
I don't think it's 100% man D. I think it's somewhat of a zone D, and they're picking up their man and staying with him. It's more of like a hybrid for me.
Yeah, it's a hybrid.
So, I mean, and again, these are NHL players. They should be able to pick it up. I mean, they're not the fastest team in the league, but they're not slow.
They're one of the slower teams in the league. It's pretty obvious.
That doesn't have much to do with defense. Defensive zone coverage is in your head. It's knowing what to do in anticipation. So
that's what I was going to say. Play trusting instincts and anticipation. When you play
man, though,
my thing is
you have to stay with guys.
I mean, as far as like team speed, like how is that judged? How is that rated? I'm sure it's very marginal. You know, I mean, like between the best team and the worst team, it's still probably, it's not making that much of a difference, in my opinion.
Well, forget the
Coach
stats.
Had said,
the eye test shows it, in my opinion.
Go ahead, Coach. Sorry.
I just feel like, look, we play a certain way. We try to do it according to the players you have. If you don't have certain players, then you can't do you can't challenge off the rush. You can't do, there's a lot of things you can't do, but more or less, we always say, stay the course. Trust it. Keep working hard and things will change. But when you're losing like this, it starts getting in the back of your head. Then maybe you need to change the system just to keep it simple, and more or less just chip it out of the zone and go get it. Don't even try to make that outlet pass. Everything's out of the zone. That's what we try to do when we're in trouble in a game. Between periods, we'll say, guys, stop the pass up the middle. Stop the pass to the center. Just get it out of the zone and get it where it's in the neutral zone and hopefully in their zone. So you try to simplify it. So that's my answer to that. You're not going to make a major change, but in certain situations, you may simplify it. Like they'll say when we're not scoring, throw everything at the net. So that's changing a system just to keep things simpler and not have to think so much.
Yeah.
You know
I like that
saying?
idea. That I agree with.
Taking that element of the thought process out, where you're not sitting, gripping the stick tight on your heels, going, "What should I do? Who should I cover?" It's on my stick. Don't even look for the center breakout pass. Chip it out of the zone and support the puck.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could say, especially with pro athletes. They should be able to just simplify it, have fun.
Well, Coach, I didn't watch hockey in the 70s and 80s, but I'm pretty sure that style of hockey has been effective since hockey was created in whatever year it was created. So it should be that when you're struggling, just get back to basics, dump it in, be physical, get on the puck, hound the puck, stay in your position, simplify the game, win a 2-1 game, win it nice,
Hockey is a simple game, and when you overcomplicate it, that's what this happens. It's like the east to west, coast to coast pass is not part of any kind of system that any coach would teach, in my opinion, especially us. It's a north-south game, and you keep it simple. And it's like I always say to our kids at Stony Brook, and I've been saying it. I know obviously we don't coach at this high level, but it's just keep it simple. Don't make the unnecessary passes. If you're 3 or 4 feet away from somebody in the neutral zone, you don't have to pass it to that guy. Move your feet a little bit faster and catch up with him, or dump it in. You don't need to make that unnecessary pass or that unnecessary move at the blue line. And especially when you're in a slump, and that's the most frustrating thing is everyone always says, it's pond hockey. It's called pond hockey for a reason when they're making those cross ice passes, unnecessary passes. All it does is give the goalie time to make a decision, gives the defenseman time to get over, block the shot, pass in the stick in the passing lane.
We're not talking about east-west passes down by the goal. We're talking about
correct
in
up
the
by the blue line.
Zone. Yeah, in the defensive zone up to the face-off dots in the offensive zone.
Right, and then
obviously
once you
down low, you gotta
once you establish that pressure, like you're about to say, and set up the triangle like we teach in the offensive zone, then that's when you take advantage of the mini 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s that you create down low. But you have to establish that pressure first, and making a pass across the blue line is not the way to do that.
That's what drives me insane more
especially
than anything.
When you have a slow team.
The passes at the blue line, east to west, drive me absolutely bonkers. They're coming in 3-on-2 just now. I was looking at it.
I just was about to say the same thing.
Kreider, Lindgren, and whoever that was with him. And the Predators guys just back up. They stay in the line, in position. Kreider just flips a pass across to Lindgren. The shot then gets blocked, and they come out of the zone. It's insane. There's no triangle. There's no mini 2-on-1.
What good is it? What is it?
Jesus. All right, I'm about to turn this off, honestly.
What good does it do by passing the puck to Lindgren at the blue line on a 3-on-2 for him to take a wrist shot?
No, skate hard with the puck, carry the puck, draw a defender, create a 2-on-1, drop, do something. You just flip. They flip it here, they flip it there, they look for a one-timer. It's crazy, man. Just absolutely crazy. But all right, well, Coach,
to shoot at there, but you still got to
that. I guess simplifying the game, and Coach's answer is if he doesn't put Zibanejad in, then people are going to question why he wasn't out there, I guess is the answer to your question, Little Ed. I wouldn't put him out there. I'm sorry. I don't care.
In the game that you're talking about, I'll be honest with you, I was away. I didn't see that game, so I wasn't aware of what you were saying. In that game, I definitely wouldn't put him out no matter what. If anybody asked me the question, I would say, did you watch the game and see who was playing?
It's in most games. It's towards the. it's been happening a lot.
Oh, I understand, but that seemed very obvious. If he was kind of benched that game for a good,
especially us. I always turn to you when we're coaching. When we identify a player like that's having a hot game, he's filling in on our top line, or he's the extra man, or we find a spot for that player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no matter who it is. Hungry tonight
now. And right now, Cooley's that guy, and he's been that guy all season. He's been the most consistent player all season.
End of the first period, Nashville leads 1-0. So
Hold on. Rangers hockey fan on Instagram also said you guys should be the GM and coach. Awesome podcast show.
So, well, thank you. I appreciate that, but
so where does that leave me?
The rest of Twitter does not agree.
Cousin Ed's the GM, Coach Ed's the coach. So what am I?
Well, you'd be the assistant coach.
You can be the marketing team.
Yeah, that too.
You'd be in charge of Instagram posts.
Assistant GM,
Instagram posts for me.
Assistant GM, assistant coach, and e-bug.
E-bug, yeah, e-host.
Yeah, exactly.
So does that
I'm
wrap
just
up
like
the corner?
Yeah, let's just wrap up the corner with that, and it ties into kind of our milestone moment talking about east to west passes. So let's do the milestone moment. We got 2 of them in these games. Mika Zibanejad with his 300th career goal. He's also 1 assist away from 400 assists. So hopefully he can get that at some point soon, maybe in the next month and a half. And, that's a big milestone, 300 goals. And also Artemi Panarin skated in his 700th NHL game. So a couple big milestones this week. Congrats to Mika, 300 goals. I mean, it's a lot. It's a pretty good number. And Panarin should hit 1,000 games, even though he got a late start after playing all those years in the KHL. So he's on his way there as well. All right. That is sponsored by Old Country Ceramic Tile, our milestone moment. Get it? Stone, tile? No? All right. Anyway.
Coach, you got anything to add about Old Country quick before we move on?
Yeah, like we keep talking about the holiday season's here. Why not get your wife a nice Christmas present and give her a shot at ordering a nice backsplash or a new tile floor in the bathroom or redoing the room for the new year? So get over there, let her pick out something nice and see the folks over there, Mauricio and Vicky, and get things done at the house.
My wife would never consider that a Christmas present. She'd be like, "Oh, this is for just like like we're doing this, right? But now where's my present?"
Well,
just
that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate for you, but I know Kathy would love it.
True. Kathy would love that. Okay, sorry, I'm eating Peruvian chocolate. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, there better be some of that in the mail for me. That's all I got to say.
No, it's visit only now, Cousin Ed.
Oh, that's what it is? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to be on the premises to get it.
You know how like some
all right, well, you got to be on the premises to get autographs then.
Some companies have like promo codes, but it's like in-store only or like online only. Like Cousin Ed's right now, it's like in-house only.
Hilarious.
for the Peruvian chocolate.
Well, her grandma's visiting for the holidays, and she came and she brought me two huge boxes of chocolates. I was like, yes. Peru has some pretty good chocolate. Anyway, enough about that. I want to talk about some empty words from the players, okay? I don't know if you guys have been, watching the post-game shows after all these losses, but I have been suffering through them, waiting for somebody to just get angry and say something that I like, and I haven't gotten it. Mostly it's empty platitudes from guys like Zibanejad, like, oh, we got to stay positive and, whatever. But last game, before the Blues game, so Saturday against the Kings, Ryan Lindgren said, it's getting outworked, outcompeted, losing those 50-50 battles. That can't happen. Turnovers, mistakes, those are going to happen inside a game. Those you can live with. But when it comes to a 50-50 puck, you're competing against someone else, and you've got to come away with those, and we're not right now. We're too easy to play against, and we've got to be a hell of a lot better. Loved it. I was like, great, Lindgren's stepping up. He could be a leader. I know he's getting torched by the fan base, and he hasn't been at his best, but great quote. Then against the Blues, he's got a 50-50 puck with Jordan Kyrou. He completely misplays it. Kyrou steals it, goes on a breakaway, and scores almost immediately in the game. So it's like, at some point, the words have to transfer into play on the ice, right? I mean, I'm not going to say it's all Lindgren or whatever. I'm not here to do that. I'm singling him out because that quote in that play kind of just lined up perfectly for the point I'm making. But anything they say about being better and we got to be better, at some point it's just empty words, right? I mean, coach, like, what are you looking for these players to say in the post game? Like, what would you want to hear as a fan? Forget as a coach or whatever. As a fan, you're listening to Chris Kreider get interviewed after tonight. Let's say they lose. What do you want him to say as a fan? You know?
Well, first of all, I agree with Chris. I just saw the replay on that goal, and Mika's back checking, but just skating back like kind of casually, not covering anybody. But I feel bad because I defended him that one episode for the 5 goals against he was out for, and that was just horrific right there. But anyway, like I said before, I want one of these players to come out and say something like it's not about the GM, it's not about the coach, it's about us performing. And like Kreider does more often than not, he'll say, I need to do this, I need to do that. So have the accountability on yourself, and the rest of the locker room and other people will read that, and it will send a message like that. I want to hear someone stand up and say that it's on us, it's not on the coach and GM, and just shut that down. And then no one is saying that. I don't know why they're afraid to say it.
Accountability.
That's telling me that someone has to be true. Something's up. That's how I'm looking at it. Unless they're told to shut up about it, I don't know that either. But if no one is stepping up and saying, I'm tired of hearing about this on Instagram and Twitter and in the newspaper, this is not what's going on. We need to do it. Something like Lindgren said, we need to compete harder, and we're not. Whether he made that mistake or not, I mean, Kreider says things that he's making mistakes at.
No, I didn't mean to single out Lindgren. I did single him out, but that wasn't the point of what I was doing. You don't have to defend Lindgren.
Yeah, I'm not
just saying generally they're all doing.
It's not just Lindgren. Lindgren's saying, you think Lindgren wasn't pissed that that play happened? Lindgren probably wanted to freaking hit himself in the shin for that. You know, he wanted to just go high because he hates that. There's no one. I don't think anybody in the team competes harder than him personally. His skill level is there, but I don't think
he hasn't drawn blood in a while. I think that says something. No, I mean I say that as a joke, but
it's usually once
there
a
was
game.
There's a time where it was happening almost every game when he was playing his hardest, sacrificing the body. You know, he's not. I mean, I don't really. I got to watch him a little closer, but I don't really see him diving head first in front of a shot anymore.
Fans don't know the value of these guys. I'm telling you, like, you guys don't understand. Ryan Lindgren gives it his all every single shift. We can talk about whether he's good at hockey. We can talk about, whether he should be a third pair guy or traded. We can talk about all those things and be honest in assessing it. But you cannot question Ryan Lindgren's effort. You're never going to. If Ryan Lindgren, an unrestricted free agent after this year, becomes available because the Rangers are selling, you'll be surprised at what Chris Drury can get for Ryan Lindgren from playoff teams. I guarantee you the return, people are like, what? Like, holy crap. Like, I guarantee if every team in the league who has a chance to win the cup would want to acquire Ryan Lindgren on their third pair for a playoff run. Every single one. I can't think of a single team that wouldn't want Ryan Lindgren. So, I mean, I'm not here to bash Lindgren. I know a lot of people on Twitter are bashing him, saying he sucks, he should be scratched, his play is bad. He hasn't been playing well. I get it. I agree. He hasn't played well.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But I'm not going to question his effort. Yeah, I mean,
it's not necessarily his effort, but it's just it's different. I mean, the whole team is lacking in effort. You can't. The only guy that stands out to me is Cooley. And Hedl, with his speed, he flies around, but it's
he's got a little bit of haggling in him, Hedl. I hate to say it because I love the kid. He's got some talent.
I've been saying that for 5 years.
You're right, Coach. You're right. He does. He's a better finisher, I think. He's got a better shot than Hagelin. He's not as defensively good as Hagelin, but he's got a little bit of that chicken without a head syndrome with his speed. Like, he skates around and he's just kind of like, oh crap, I beat the guy. Like, where do I go now? And then he just circles
cousin
around.
Flop. I need like a button I could push that just is like a cousin Ed flop alert.
Yeah. You got to
Coach, Coach has literally been saying those exact things for like
it's
4
true.
or 5 years.
Well, it's different when you say it when he's 20, and I'm like, give him time, he'll develop. And now he's 25, and he's been in the league for 6 years or whatever.
There are certain
different styles than Hagelin for sure. But
there are certain characteristics of a person that don't change. whether it's 1 year in, 1 game in, or 150 or 500 or 1,000 games in. That's how they're going to be inside. That's their inner self, and he doesn't have it.
And the chicken without a head he doesn't have what? What do you say?
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that awareness.
Right.
He has that. I'm a mite. I'm the best skater on the ice, and I'm just going to fly around the ice. And I have the puck. Come and get me. Oh, what do I do now?
That's funny.
That's his.
Well, he is one of the only players on the team with speed. So
he played just like this when he was 6 years old.
He is one of the only players on the team with speed. I'll say that. So you live with it. But yeah, he definitely has that chicken without a head syndrome for sure, Coach. If you said that back then, you nailed it on the head. And he hasn't grown out of it. So, when a player's young, you can criticize them and defend them. You can criticize them, but I defend them because I say, this guy's 20. Like, let's see what they're like at 23 or 24 before I start saying this guy sucks or whatever. You got to be patient. And that was always my position with Hedl. And I like Hedl. I think he's a good player. But, yeah, you're right. His awareness isn't the best. Anyway, his effort, Little Ed, to your point, I agree. I see his effort. Cooley's effort. Kakko, I see his effort. And he got scratched. I don't get that. I really don't.
I don't get that either. That's why I think it was because of a trade. I think that was my first inclining.
I thought the same thing, but in the coaching staff's defense, there were also a lot of things that the media and fans don't see that the coaches see. And, they might just have a reason for it, but the players should know that reason. That's right. That's where I'm saying the mistake is made. So if there is a reason why they scratched him and they wanted to show him something, then the kid should have known why. And he shouldn't have had an answer in the media like, I don't know, ask the coach.
Somebody said if his name was like Mason Smith and he played for like the Saginaw, what are they called? The Saginaw Steelheads or whatever it is. And he was born in Moose Jaw, that he wouldn't be scratched. But because he's Capo Kakko, he's soft-spoken, he's Finnish, he's 23, it's easy to scratch him, right? But if he was a kid from Moose Jaw, probably wouldn't get scratched. Like, there is a little bit.
I don't buy something like that, but I'm more inclined to say what Eddie said. They're not going to tell him, look, we were thinking of trading you. That's why we scratched you. They're going to just say, they're going to make like a little excuse,
Fresh legs was the excuse Laviolette gave.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, I don't buy it either, because look at a guy like Edstrom, he's a quiet guy. He's from Sweden and he hasn't missed a game this year. So I don't really buy the whole Euro thing, but I thought it was a funny post.
Did you see the post that I made with highlights from the Wolfpack game? Brempy digging in the corners and digging below the net, cycling.
Yeah, that was nice.
Goal by Sakura.
No, I didn't see that.
Well, head on over to Instagram and check it out. I mean, Mike's getting a lot of love, but I had bought Coach Ed and I tickets a long time ago when they announced their schedule. Coach Cuz, you'll get a kick out of this. So the Wolfpack announced like their giveaway schedule. And for Sonar's birthday, they were giving away like a little, it's called a squishmallow, like the pillow, but it's like a stuffed animal.
Mm-hmm.
That's like really hot with the kids right now. They make like a ton of different ones, like characters and stuff, but it's like a little pillow. It's like a stuffed animal. And I didn't read the fine print, and it was going to be the first 1,000 fans under 12 years old.
Oh my God. So you bought tickets to the game?
I bought tickets like a long time ago for like, I don't know, they were probably like $15 each at the time, like when they first released their schedule. And obviously everything that's been going on, Coach Ed was going away. I don't even know if I told you about it, Coach, at the time. Like, but I had it on my calendar. I had it on my calendar with Lindsay.
So you went to the game?
No. So I flew back from Florida Saturday morning. I was exhausted. I was like, there's no chance. So I texted my buddy Mike and I was like, hey man, you want these 2 tickets? But like, you got to promise me you're going to get me the giveaway. and then like 20 minutes before he goes, oh, by the way, he sends me a screenshot of like the first 1,000 fans under 12. I was like, oh my God.
That is so funny.
But they were
That's
awesome
great.
seats. They were right behind the net where the Wolfpack were going to shoot twice. He sent me some nice pictures, some nice videos, tagged us in some videos. So it was well worth it. I'm glad someone got to experience it, and I like giving fans that experience that usually might not be able to go or don't think to go and get good seats like that. So it was a good thing. Good things all around. But Coach, you and I definitely have to get to a game. We got to look at the schedule.
Yeah, I want to do it for sure.
Yeah, it's probably more fun than watching this team right now. I mean, through a period tonight, I know we got one eye on the pod and one eye on the game. But what's been your impression tonight with the effort level? I mean, at times I feel like they're getting some chances, but still too many odd man rushes. I don't know. What's your impression, Little Ed?
I was going to say in the first period it was a better effort. I mean, obviously got spoiled by letting up a goal there. But to me, Zibanejad seems like he's skating well. I saw a few plays that he was below the goal line. It's always good to see him below the goal line, at least. It's a positive sign. And seems like he was skating well. Like you always say, his hair was in the wind a little bit as opposed to being on the back of his jersey. And Avery made that comment too, that Zibanejad's hair has been completely dry during these games.
That was so funny. That was so funny. I mean, I'm looking at our friend Statboy Steven, his post. Mika Zibanejad skates the way he talks. ... Slow as F bomb. And he posts a video of the back check coach you were referring to, and that is just horrible. I mean, he is gliding. He's literally gliding on that goal. I don't know what to say there.
Well, that's when you lose Coach Ed's respect. You don't have to put up a ton of points, but when you're not putting in the effort on the back check or defensively, that's when you lose his respect. So he defended him for so long, and he just can't do it anymore.
We all just live to have Coach Ed's respect, man. I mean, it's a must in life. If we don't have it, then that's why when we played the game last year, that's why I hustled back on that back check on that one breakaway, because I just wanted Coach Ed on the bench to say, "Hey, nice hustle." That's all I wanted, and then my night was made, and that was it. But
I know a few people who still yearn for
it. I'm sure it's hard to get your respect. That's why. For those of you that don't know Coach Ed, he's the type of person who'd be like, "Hey, look at this thing I built in my house," and send him a picture, and he'll be like, "That doesn't look level." That's the first thing he says, rather than like, "Hey, nice try," but that's the Coach Ed style.
Well, I got in trouble, Kathy. I got in trouble from Kathy. I was down visiting Pop, and I was with Erin. EA the PA decides, she goes, "Dad, I'm gonna make a homemade chicken pot pie for you."
Oh, this is good.
Oh.
This is really.
I said, "Oh, great." So I help her a little bit with how to go get pie tins because she didn't have pie tins. I go, "How are you going to put the crust in?" Go out to the store, get the pie tins. She makes it. She's like, "How is it?" I go, "Well, we got to change it up." I said, "The pastry, the flaky part isn't right." So Kathy's on the phone and she goes, "Can you just be happy that she made you a home-cooked meal?"
He's just sitting there.
I said, "Well, how's it going to get better?" I said, "It was delicious. I'm just finding ways to improve it. As soon as think you have it perfect, you lost."
I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because for my birthday on Thanksgiving, I was down in Jacksonville with her, and she made me my favorite cake growing up was the golden Entenmann's cake with the chocolate frosting, like just a simple Entenmann's cake in the box. So Erin made one from scratch. And it tasted incredible. It tasted incredible, but like it wasn't as like fluffy, or like it was a little bit more dense, I guess. So like I obviously took a bite. I was like, similar to what Coach Ed said, like, it tastes great, but like you could work on the aeration or whatever I said. It was just, she was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Like,
poor Erin.
Funny.
Good for her making effort.
Of course, no. It's always appreciated the effort with the.
Yeah, you could be a little more appreciative. By the way, if you're a fan of Batman,
no, I was. It was very.
You got it. If you're a fan of Batman and you've watched The Penguin, I highly recommend going to watch Little Ed and EA the PA's Penguin review. I just finished it. I finished the show. I'm caught up, so now I can actually go in and watch it. I saw a sneak peek of it. It looks really good. So, I didn't even catch that was the same actor from How I Met Your Mother, by the way, until I saw your thing where you mentioned it. I was like, oh my God, it is. Like, it didn't even register in my head. Yeah. I didn't even register. But anyway, check that out for sure.
Me and EA, the PA, actually were just texting about we got to record the last 2 episodes, or record our last 2 episodes covering the last 4 episodes of Penguin. So we'll be releasing those. We'll be releasing those very soon. And I even got Cousin Ed to watch the Batman too, to lead into the Penguin show. So
it was definitely worth doing that if you haven't seen it. Anyway, we're underway here in the second period, about a minute in. Where are we at? I don't even know. Should we wait for a commercial and do the Fantasy 150? We got Mikey P with a little Fantasy 150.
Well, we got the Doghouse and Player of the Week first, or you want to wait until the end to do that?
No, let's just do it now. Let's go into it. So
other than the pie crust on the chicken pot pie and the spongy birthday cake, what else is in the Doghouse? Let's find out right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna do our stars of the week.
I'm hoping Aaron doesn't watch because I have one more Doghouse.
Yeah, we're gonna do our stars of the week, but it's really just gonna be our player of the week, right? And our, I guess, Doghouse, and that's it. We're not gonna do the rest of it because this team is.
They have to earn the right for the rest of the awards. No one is.
Well, I'm looking at your outline, and just the fact that in these three games.
This is the first time he looked at the outline, by the way. The point of the outline is look at it before the episode. My screen.
They win 3-2 against Buffalo, and the other goalie is one of the stars. The other 2 games we get beat, and all the stars are from the other team.
Yep.
So that's just a summary of how they're playing.
It's well summarized by you.
So how do you give stars of the week? For us, how do we do it when there's not a guy that you could say
we can't player of the week?
3 games.
Player of the week in Doghouse. That's it. That's all we're doing this week. Define that however the hell you want. I don't care. I'll start player of the week. Will Cooley, right? I mean, who else is it going to be? I don't know what else.
I said it enough in this episode already. I mean, there's no other guy that deserves it right now. He's been the most consistent Ranger all season.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's not hockey's a simple game. And if you overcomplicate it, and Cooley plays a simple game. He's a hockey player. He plays hockey. He goes in the offensive zone hard. He back checks. He dumps it in when he should dump it in. He shoots when he should shoot. Passes it when he should pass. He hits. He's in the top 10 in the NHL. Might even be top 5 in hits. So hockey's an easy game, and we say it the same thing to our players. We didn't invent this. We didn't invent this system. It's every coach or any knowledgeable coach is teaching the same thing, and we would kill for 15 Will Cooleys.
Yeah,
I don't understand. When is Mika going to hit the net?
Yeah, Rangers are on the power play. Coach, did you see the dartboard? Did you see that the Rangers went out in Nashville last night? I guess on a team bonding thing. They played darts. I sent you that, right?
Yeah, Chris.
The responses to that were wild. Somebody tweeted Zibanejad missed the board and hit one of the waitresses in the eye. Somebody showed a picture of a dartboard with just darts around the board, not even on it, just on the wall, stuck into the wall. It was crazy. It's so funny.
Yeah.
What was that case by Kreider just there? I mean,
our boy Chris on Instagram said you might want to check with the bar and see if they need their wall replaced after this one.
Yeah, seriously. You're going to have to distinguish between the Chris's.
Kreider's got to be there a little quicker. K. Miska, 92. I don't know.
I'm with you guys. I got Cooley as player of the week, and I got everybody else in the Doghouse.
Yeah, and that's literally last time, Coach, you had everyone but Cooley, Kako, Jones, and Quick. That was also mine. No, sorry. I had a very specific doghouse. That was also Little Ed's. So who are you going with the doghouse this time? Everyone except Cooley? What about Berard, Heedle? I mean, all those guys are in the doghouse?
Yeah, everybody but the fourth line and Cooley.
Yeah. Well, since Miller is technically hurt, I mean, he can't be in the doghouse and be hurt. So, like, if I'm going to be taking it seriously, I'm going with the entire leadership group, the 4 A's or however many A's they got now. I guess
like
Panarin technically can't be in there either, but I'm going with the 4. I'm going with Trocheck, Mika, Kreider, and Fox.
He can be in there. I like that pick because he can be in there because, like I said, he should be. I know he's a clown with the media here and there, but it's time to step up and take it a little more seriously.
Yeah, what happened to shaved head Panarin? I want that back.
Yeah, so yeah, he can be in the doghouse. I like that. I like that pick because those are the guys who have to get them out of this funk.
Yeah,
those are the guys.
So who'd you say, Little Ed?
I'm going with the assistant captains or the leadership group. I don't know if Trocheck technically has an A this year or not with what they're
But
whatever.
You're including him?
But I'm including him because he's a leader and he was a leader on the team last year, whether he had a letter or not. So I'm going with Trocheck, Mika, Kreider, and Fox.
And Panarin.
And Coach added Panarin. Yeah, so he wears the A. I thought he needs to be healed up, but I guess the doctor, EA, the PA, is making a house visit into the doghouse.
Yeah.
I'm changing mine to that.
All right,
but
Coach.
I like
Coach
that.
always does this with his own doghouse. He just copies you. All right, I got Zibanejad, Lindgren, Fox, Igor, Panarin, Lafreniere, and Kreider. Same as last week. I took out Schneider, Miller, and Smith because Miller's hurt. Schneider was better. And Smith is just vanilla, so like there's no point in including him. But yeah. Anyway,
did we give Suitors
what is the speculation on Miller's injury?
Upper body injury, injured reserve. He's not coming back until after the holiday.
That was a nice play by Kreider there, but misread by Mika, of course.
Honestly, as long as the injury isn't serious, right, like a concussion or something like that, I hate to say it could be a good thing, but it could be a good thing for him to just have some time and like watch his game and he gets some video time with the coaches. If he's got like a banged up shoulder or whatever it is, who knows? As long as he doesn't have a concussion, because you don't wish that on anyone. It's not. I hate to say that's a good thing with like CTE floating around, but can't hurt Keandre to take a break. Of
course.
Anyway, Ranger power play results in absolutely nothing. So while they continue to suck, we will give Suitors their ad, which we didn't necessarily do during the doghouse. I just ordered some cookies from them. I can't wait to get them. They're coming this weekend. When we get them, we'll post them. They're gonna be cool. So I'm excited. And yeah, I mean, dude, when you order them, they come in a vacuum seal bag. It's sealed and they stay fresh for a while. So even if you don't need them right away, it's good to have. You can have them on standby. I have the cookies in the thing behind me here. I don't know if you can see it. My room is a disaster right now, but you can see the cookies there. And what is that called again, Ed?
Shadow box.
My wife has suggested they might be rancid at this point because they've had them for over a year. But
definitely don't want to eat them.
They're still in the shadow box, hanging in there. So you can do that. You can make a little design out of them. They're just super, super good artwork. And yeah, I mean, great job by them as usual. And I'm excited to get these cookies out. We'll post them on Instagram. When I get them, I'll send a video and we'll get them in.
You can find the rest of their designs on Instagram at Suitors Sweet Treats. That's at SUTERS SWEET TREATS on Instagram, and then double sweets and gifts on Etsy. And as always, use promo code EDPOD for 10% off and your free doghouse cookie that I got up on my screen right here.
Ed, did you use the promo code to get a discount?
No, I didn't. I got the discount because I'm a friend. So the full price discount.
That's Suitor, no relation.
No relation to Ryan Suitor. So, Coach, 1-0, 14 minutes to go in the second. This has been the worst team in the NHL. Are the Rangers the worst team in the league? Is that where we're at?
I would say right now.
I think Chris said that earlier in the YouTube comments. You can't lose to the worst team in the league when you are the worst team in the league.
I would say I don't even know. Like, do we stay on and hang out with everybody and watch the end of this game, or like, do we just end this episode? Like, I don't even know what to do right now.
They're definitely the coldest team in the league. They're not the worst team on paper, that's for sure. I mean, other than like them in Buffalo, I mean, who else has a worse losing streak? You got Chicago. Obviously, Chicago beat the Rangers. They also beat the Islanders the other night. I mean,
Nashville's 1-9 in their last 10.
Yeah. Listen, the NHL is a very any given Sunday type of sport, or hockey's that type of sport. So any team can really beat any team on a given night. But when you're on a 10-game losing streak, a 6-game losing streak, losing 7 of your last 10, that's a different story. You know, losing to the Blackhawks is at the end of the world in a vacuum, no. But in this situation, yes, it is. And the Islanders are in the same situation, losing to them the other night. You know, you can't afford to lose to teams like this. You know what I'm trying to say?
Not when you're struggling. Yeah. You know,
that's a good point.
I mean, they're 3-13 and they're 3-10 in their last 13. They get Nashville. Did you guys see the schedule after this? Yeah. You know, did you see the schedule? The upcoming schedule sponsored by Sorrento's is a gauntlet. It's a nightmare. I mean, this is not good. You know, I don't even know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with the way the team is playing. But they're at Dallas, then they're home against Carolina, at New Jersey, at Tampa, at Florida. That ends the year. Then we turn it over to the new year, and they get Boston. And it gets worse. It's the same after that. It continues on. I mean, at Dallas, the way the team is playing right now, is that a win? Probably not. Carolina, probably not. New Jersey, probably not. Tampa, Florida on the road, probably not. I mean, this could be really, really bad. Really bad. I mean, the Rangers could be in last place in the Eastern Conference by the end of the year.
Well, maybe we could get the number 1 pick again.
Maybe.
Then we could start this saga all over.
I don't know.
Dallas just held St. Louis to 16 shots, according to Chris in the comments, and Paul said all in 8 days. So yeah, it's going to be a gauntlet. In the past, I've always said that Rangers, they step up in those games. But right now, I'm not that confident in that. That's for sure.
No, not that confident in that might be the biggest understatement since General Custer said, "Hey, I think there's friendly Indians on that side."
Native Americans, Ed. Native Americans.
Oh, it's a quote from the Honeymooners. I mean,
I know.
Oh, that's a big understatement, man. I really think they're going to lose all those games. I do.
I mean, I don't have confidence that they're going to win any of them. So,
I mean, we can only hope that one of those teams are going to take the Rangers lightly, that like they always do, and maybe they'll surprise us. But I mean, like I said before, the effort level is definitely improving a little bit in the Nashville game, but we said that with the Penguins also, and the Buffalo game or whatever. They got to keep the consistent. It's got to be somewhat consistent, which is far from it right now.
While we're on commercial, let's just pop it over to Mikey P for the Rangers Ed Fantasy 150. Let's get some fantasy tips from our boy for all you fantasy hockey guys out there and gals.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rangers Ed 150. We're going to mix things up a bit this week. Instead of running through the NHL standings, we're going to talk a little bit of fantasy hockey. So first off, in some news, Dan Vladar of the Calgary Flames was injured last week in their 8-3 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Until he returns, it's likely Dustin Wolf will be seeing an uptick in time between the pipes for Calgary. Wolf has recorded a shutout in his lone contest since Vladar went down and has posted 9 wins, a .265 goals against, a .915 save percentage, and 2 shutouts in 15 games played this season. Matt Barzal returned for the New York Islanders on Sunday night after missing 21 games with an upper body injury. Barzal will resume his role as the top-line center for the Islanders, and fantasy owners should get an offensive boost with him back in the lineup, especially if he can make his way back up onto that Islanders' first power play. Last up on the injury front, Artemi Panarin missed Sunday's game against the St. Louis Blues with an upper body injury. It's unclear if he'll miss any significant time, but fantasy owners should be aware as he is a point horse, and even missing 1 or 2 games could have significant impact on point categories for fantasy owners. On the waiver wire, there are plenty of good options to be scooped up in those Yahoo leagues. First off being Troy Terry of the Anaheim Ducks with 12 points in his last 10 games. He's only rostered in 23% of Yahoo fantasy leagues, likely because he plays for the Ducks. Anaheim is a tough team for fantasy owners, but first line, first power play players on scoring streaks are usually hard to pass up, regardless of who they play for. Victor Olofsson of the Vegas Golden Knights is next up on our list. He's got 4 goals, 2 power play points, and 12 shots on goal in his last 3 games. He is only rostered in 7% of Yahoo fantasy leagues, currently playing third line with Thomas Hertl and seeing first power play time. Not much of a sample size for Olofsson, but there is a lot of talent in that Vegas forward core that has allowed players like himself and Pavel Dorofeyev to thrive as goal scorers. So fantasy owners should be keeping an eye on the Golden Knights. Josh Norris of the Ottawa Senators rostered in a shockingly low 40% of Yahoo leagues, and people make no mistake, the Ottawa Senators have one of the best fantasy hockey lines in the entire NHL of Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, and Drake Batherson. Norris has 12 goals and 8 assists through 30 games played and is a solid contributor across the board in most stat categories. Last up comes from the struggling Pittsburgh Penguins in the form of Blake Lizotte. Lizotte's playing on the 4th line for the Pens, but despite that, his production through the last 9 games cannot be ignored. Through that stretch, Lizotte has 5 goals and 4 assists, a shorthanded point, and a solid depth category coverage. This pick does come with a bit more risk than the others mentioned here, with Lizotte being a 4th liner with no power play role. So this should be a matchup dependent pick if people are thinking of going in that direction. Last up, we have to tip the hat to a few players who had some outstanding fantasy stat lines last week. First up, we have Nathan MacKinnon and Mikko Rantanen, who each had 5-point nights against the Pittsburgh Penguins on Tuesday night. MacKinnon put up a goal and 4 assists, and Rantanen had a hat trick and 2 assists to cap off a 6-2 win over the Penguins. Next up, we got Nikita Kucherov, who put up a goal and 5 assists on Thursday, not to be outdone by his compatriots on the Avalanche. He helped Jake Gensel to a hat trick in Tampa's 8-3 win over the Calgary Flames. And third on the list, we have Scott Laughton, who put the team on his back Thursday night in Detroit, scoring all 4 of the Flyers' goals in their 4-1 victory. I'm sure nobody reaped the benefits of this because Scott Laughton seems to be on the waiver wire in every single Yahoo league, but that performance certainly deserves a tip of the hat nonetheless. Lots of good matchups this week. Lots of fantasy stat lines going to be looking good next week, so be sure to tune in for more updates. This has been your Rangers Ed Fantasy Hockey 150.
Great job by Mikey P there. The fantasy, buzzing. I got to make sure I follow his lead here. I got a couple leagues I'm trying to get up to Schneid, as he pointed out. I haven't won in a few years, but I'm always competitive, right? That's all that matters. Anyway, I just sent you guys this Emily Kaplan, who does have legitimate sources. We know that. Igor, man, jeez. He just made like 5 saves. Oh, look, Will Cooley showing emotion, and now there's a scrum, huh?
Well, because Cooley, I don't know if you guys missed it, Cooley hit McCarron into the Rangers' door as it was open, that he had to leave the ice.
No, I saw that, but it looked like this was about the guy trying to hit rebounds into Shesterkin.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the
Who the hell was that?
Coming up.
He's got leverage on Cooley here. Fight.
No,
let's go.
Cooley got knocked over.
Here you go. Come on, Cooley. All right.
We got to get back on track because I can't see it. You guys are seeing it way ahead of me.
How is that possible?
Right now, he's got Cooley in a headlock.
So just wait a second. Sorry. We'll all pause a second.
Right now, he's holding up a deal life with Cooley in a wrestling hold.
Yeah, we'll pause for Coach Ed.
Tell us when you broke it up. Did they break it up?
So
this guy had to be a professional. This kid had to be a wrestler in high school and college because that he just did like 5 wrestling moves on Cooley. That's all he did was just hold his ground.
That's all he could do, right? Cooley's much bigger. But anyway, Emily Kaplan, who we know has real sources, she tweeted out, or I guess she said, and it was tweeted out about what she said. I heard from multiple people that after their loss on Sunday, there was a closed-door meeting. There are some players that are super frustrated with Chris Drury right now regarding the way he's done business. Owner James Dolan supports Chris Drury and was aware of the memo Drury sent out, the one about Trouba and Kreider. So Drury is going to keep trying to shake this roster up. One of the guys that is getting a lot of interest is Capo Caco. I can tell you there's a lot of teams mainly in the Western Conference, circling around him, and one of them I heard recently was the Wild. Look at that. A bunch of teams are interested in Capo Caco, but I thought he had no value and was only going to return a third-round pick, from what people are saying on Twitter. We'll see who's wrong, but, I mean, he's definitely a player that can add something to a team that's trying to make a run. I don't think Caco deserves to go. I'll be sad to see him go. I do think he'll flourish elsewhere, and Rangers fans will be bitter about that. That's what's going to happen, right? So I think that's what's going to happen. He'll go to the Wild. He'll become a 25-goal scorer, 60 points. He'll play power play, and everyone's going to be pissed off that he's good when the Rangers never gave him that opportunity. That's the reality. So
look, I don't think other teams are going after him to play power play yet. Let's calm down.
We'll see.
And let's see who we get. Let's see who we get for him before you say we're going to be disappointed. Because if they get someone that's good and helps the team, then it's not going to be that bad of a trade. Is it
Minnesota's not giving up anybody that they need?
I don't think we'll be disappointed in the return. I think Caco has a lot of value, and I don't think Drury is going to trade Caco for nothing. Right. I mean, he wouldn't trade him for Jake Gensel last year. I mean, let's remember that, right? Like he refused.
Stankowski going to get on that?
Well, that's why Cooley went after him.
Yeah, crazy.
No, Cooley went after him because he got knocked on his ass. He didn't go after him. He went after a different guy.
I don't think he did.
Schneider
went after him. Schneider went after him.
Laffy actually went after the guy that got Cooley.
Well, hopefully that galvanizes the team
right now.
By the way, on an off subject, did you guys see Michael Delzato on NHL Network the other day?
No.
He debuted on the panel. He did a great job. Very well spoken, intelligent, hockey mind wide. It was good.
Doesn't Ed flop for Coach Ed on Delzato?
Well, as a player, I think he was horrible. But
do you like his analysis?
I like the way he talked about it, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see.
While we're on the fantasy subject, oh, shit, Lucarelli Law just picked up. Just turned it on me. Probably from the penalty minutes. I'm only losing a Lucarelli Law by 1. I didn't even pick my lineup.
You can't lose to Lucarelli Law.
Yeah, for real. Shout out to Mickey.
I'm on a Rangers pace right now. Little Ed beat me last week.
Did I really? Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Lucarelli Laws beat me this week.
I think it's time to fold the fantasy league. We can't even get the podcast hosts to freaking check their teams.
Well, I'll have more free time now, so I might be back on it. Or I was thinking about paying somebody outsourcing to get my team back in the mix.
No, don't do that. That's lame. That's lame. You can't do that.
Shout out to Mikey P, though. We decided to transition the Rangers at 150 into the fantasy 150. Hopefully be a little bit more interesting for you listeners out there to give some specific fantasy updates, some good players to watch or to pick up on waivers, and that can bring some value to your fantasy lineup. So players like Coach Ed and I can definitely pick up on a few things from Mikey's Fantasy 150. So we look forward to more videos from him.
in the Fantasy 150, can you tell us how we can pick up those players, like literally?
Yeah.
How to do
Yeah,
it?
can we have is there a demo on the Yahoo app that we can go through, or what's going on?
Unbelievable.
Like, how do I get a goalie that I can get in the lineup, but I have more goalie appearances?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what this team does in the coming weeks. Are they going to fold? Are they going to sell guys? Are they going to make a run? I mean, it really could go in any direction. I don't think the season's over like a lot of fans do. It's still salvageable. But yeah, it's got to turn around quick or it's going to get to that point.
Yep.
Okay, so EA the PA must be listening because she just texted me a picture of the pot pies that she made tonight. They're a lot more well done and crispy on the screen.
That's hilarious. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe they are watching. I'm not sure.
Look at Fox's effort on that.
Shout out to Mikey Producies.
God, Zibanejad is so bad. Oh, God.
Good effort by Fox to keep that puck in. I'll give him that.
Why is Heedle making that pass to Trocheck when he's not open?
Zibanejad is just so freaking bad. Just awful.
This power play looks like. I think the Wolfpack's power play is better.
Any closing comments, boys? Wrap this up.
I don't know. Enjoy the game. Like, hopefully they come back and win. I don't know. I got nothing to say. I mean, let's just see if anything happens. The roster freezes on Friday. If there is a Kakko deal in the works, I would probably guess it would happen before that. Especially if it's being tweeted, Emily Kaplan's getting involved. That means something's being talked about. So I will say I'm interested to see what Laz has to say tomorrow morning. I want to check that out. I don't think I'll be able to live, but I do want to see what he has to say, because if Emily Kaplan is saying that happened, this meeting about Drury, I mean, I don't know. That's two pretty reliable people saying something different. So I'm curious what Laz has to say, and
I'll try to watch.
We'll just go from there. But all right. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this was a little therapeutic, and hopefully this team can turn it around and get going. I don't know.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The game has gotten a lot more physical since the fight, both ends.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining in. I saw one complaint on Instagram that we chose a time slot that the Rangers are playing. So moving forward, we'll try not to do that. I see we don't have as many viewers as usual, but the people that are here are always our usual supporters. So thank you very much for chiming in and keeping us going with the Instagram comments, the YouTube comments, everything. You guys are great. So we'll keep doing it for you guys, and thanks for the support. Let's go Rangers.
Let's go. Win this game. Come on, win this game. All right.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Have a good night.